And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the Unrise Music Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas, and we're joined for this very Brazilian special introduction to the amazing Brazilian athlete, William Martin, helped by, of course, our main guy in Brazil, Miguel Chain.
Hi, Giles. Pleasure being here again.
Yep, you're back again.
E aí, William, ele falou assim que é um prazer ter com você aqui, cara, tá te apresentando, que você é um grande atleta brasileiro, e deu as boas-vindas pra você aí, velho.
Eu agradeço a oportunidade de estar aqui. Eu sou um grande admirador do trabalho dele, acompanho desde as revistas há muitos e muitos anos, então para mim é uma honra muito especial estar participando dessa entrevista aí com ele.
Giles, he said it's an honor being here with you today. He follows your work since the magazines and for many years. So for him, it's so important being here today, and he's very grateful and very happy.
Fantastic. Right now, Miguel, if you could, I've known of William for the last year when he did Portugal and Puerto Rico, but could you give us a bit of kind of background information on William's kind of contest history to date?
Ok. William, eu perdi uma informação das suas competições, cara. Quais shows você já fez? Onde você competiu? Quando você virou pro?
Me tornei profissional em 2019, no Muscular Brasil. Depois de lá, eu fiquei sem competir até 2021. Que eu estrei como profissional em Bahamas, né, em Porto Rico Pro. E depois, em sequência, eu fiz o Portugal Pro.
Ok. Giles, he turned pro in 2019 in a national show in Brazil. And after that, he did a off-season for almost 2 years, and he competed. His pro debut was Puerto Rico, and after that, Portugal.
So what were the play? Was it third in both, or what were the placings?
As colocações, William, foi
Top 7 no Porto Rico e top 3 no Portugal.
He got 7th place on Puerto Rico and 3rd place on Portugal.
Was William happy with his pro debut rookie year last year?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Giles?
Sorry, was he happy with how he did last year in his first year?
Ok. Você ficou feliz, cara, com o resultado que você teve, com as colocações nesse ano que você competiu agora, nesse primeiro ano?
Cara, eu confesso que em Porto Rico eu esperava uma colocação melhor. Até mesmo foi bem contestável o resultado, até o já sempre se manifestou na época lá, coisa que não é comum dele fazer. Mas em Portugal eu fiquei bem contente, até mesmo porque eu fiquei na frente de grandes nomes, como o Vlad Surukov, que depois ganhou a vaga por Olímpia, e outros nomes ali que são atletas muito bons, e acabei pegando colocações muito boas, né?
Okay, starting for the last show in Portugal, he was very happy with the 3rd place. He finished ahead great names in bodybuilding. He stayed ahead of Vlad Surushko.
Yep.
So he was happy. On Puerto Rico show, he got 7th place. He was not so happy because it was kind of arguable, the result. Even Chris Aceto was on the internet saying that he should have been placing higher than that.
Yeah. So, I looked at his physique last year and I thought maybe there was a couple of areas that needed to come up. I feel like these progress pictures, he's made significant improvements in the last year. You know, how does he feel about what he's bringing to the stage this year?
Ok. Ele falou que viu fotos suas no passado, cara, e que tá vendo fotos suas agora e que ele tem percebido uma grande evolução no seu físico aí. Ele falou, no passado eu via que tinha alguns grupos musculares que precisavam melhorar, mas que ele viu bastante evolução nesse ano. Então, o que você espera trazer de novo nesse ano aí, em termos de físico?
Então, ano passado foi um ano meio complicado, porque eu fiz a preparação inteira com uma lesão, né? Logo nas primeiras 2 semanas de preparação, eu machuquei o joelho. Eu fiz a preparação inteira para Porto Rico, para Portugal, sem poder treinar a perna. Então, eu fiz só estímulos parciais, com extensora limitado, com leg limitado, por causa de uma lesão na patela do joelho. Então, eu sei que isso regrediu muito a minha perna. Com isso, eu perdi muito o X, né, do shape. porque daí a perna ficou fina e eu perdi aquele frame ali, né? Então, eu fiz as correções, tratei depois da temporada, eu consegui trazer isso de melhor para esse ano, que foi melhor das pernas, né? E a gente continuou martelando muito forte a parte de dorsal. Então, o que a gente vai trazer de novo é isso. Pernas mais fortes e dorsal mais detalhado e mais trabalhado ainda.
Okay. Guys, last year he had a bad injury on his knee, on his patella.
Okay.
And that 2 weeks, on the first 2 weeks for his prep for Puerto Rico, and this injury followed him all year. So his leg size was compromised a little, or pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But he felt that kind of affected in a negative way his X frame. Okay, so the injury is gone right now. So he's training hard his legs, and he hopes to bring his legs up this year. And he's really hammering his back. So he's bringing he's focusing on these two main areas, legs and back, and he thinks he made great improvements on that areas.
I see I think his legs are absolutely tremendous. I can't believe he had problems last year with his legs. I think his legs are absolutely incredible. But I do see massive improvements in the back shots. I've just been looking at them in Hot News, and I've seen the lats, because he's had good traps, good shoulders, good lower back, but I felt like he needed more lats, and they're there now. They're really, so I think now it's really going to help his overall shape.
Yeah, ele falou, William, que, cara, ele achava suas pernas muito boas já, ano passado, e que ele via as costas ali que precisavam melhorar, mas falou assim, eu via que ele tinha bons trapézios, que ele tinha bons deltoides, que a parte de baixo das costas era muito boa, mas que aquela parte medial ali, do grande dorsal e tudo, precisava de trabalho. E ele percebeu pelas fotos que você fez, até falou de você no canal, nas notícias, que isso melhorou pra caramba, cara.
Legal.
Isso foi treino específico?
A gente faz um trabalho de 2 treinos, né, com o Pacho ali, né, que é o treinador, né, precisa ser o nutricionista e o Pacho cuida da parte de treino, e a gente conseguiu intensificar ainda mais, né, o joelho ali, tinha dia que ele limitava para fazer um terra pesado, porque acaba movimentando, né, quando é multiarticular, então tinha dia que a remada ficava um pouco limitada, então você acaba tendo que adaptar outros treinos, né, por conta da lesão. Então, com o joelho zerado, a gente conseguiu martelar ainda mais forte nas remadas, serrote, remada curvada, levantamento terra. Então, foi uma junção de tudo, né? E a gente manteve a mesma divisão, que a gente faz 2 treinos no mesmo dia, né?
Isso no mesmo legal. Dia.
Isso, a gente separa num período as puxadas, então trabalha mais a parte da grande dorsal, e no segundo treino as remadas, né? Da parte da lower back, e daí faz os deadlift junto, né?
Entendi. Guys, he said that he's working very hard his back with his trainer, Fabrício Pacholoc, which is a great trainer in Brazil. We had
I've heard you mention him. Sorry to interrupt. I've heard you mention this trainer before. He's very well known.
Yeah, man, he's great. He's doing a great job with several athletes. Mm-hmm. And they had 2 back sessions in one day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
Wow. Okay.
The first one,
2.
Yeah, first one
Holy shit.
is more pull downs and things like that, and the second session is based on rows and deadlifts. He said that he's working very hard, and I follow his training, and he's a guy that he uses a great amount of weight, and he keeps a good form of each exercise. And he said that his knee injury was preventing him to use bigger weights on deadlifts and bent over rows, for example. And right now he can do that better and with more weight, and that's why he thinks he's getting these kind of results.
Did he get the back training idea from Jay Cutler?
No, I don't think. Você pegou esse treino de costas do Jay Cutler? Foi idealizado nele ou não?
He did that.
Eu não sei de onde que o Pacho tirou isso, mas a gente está fazendo faz um tempo já. Porque antes a gente fazia 2 sessões na semana. Mas quando você tirava intenso, por exemplo, segunda, o outro treino na quinta, às vezes não estava 100% recuperado. Então a gente tinha que equalizar volume, intensidade. Então a gente foi testando e viu que assim a gente consegue fazer 2 treinos muito fortes, tem um descanso bem maior. Então acabou respondendo melhor dessa forma, né? Mas eu não sei se foi do Jay Cutler ou não, daí só o Pacho pode responder. Ele não falou a sacada de onde veio.
He doesn't know if his trainer got that from Jay, but
he did.
They usually, but first they try doing two back days. Mm-hmm. One back day beginning of the week, and a few days later the second session. But it was getting hard for him to recover. So when the second session arrived, he was still sore and there wasn't going so good. So they decided to bring the 2 sessions together on the same day, and it's working. And a funny thing, Giles, in Brazil, he's known as the Brazilian Jay Cutler.
I know, yeah.
He's first time I saw him was in a national championship in 2018. Mm-hmm. I was working for Pro League, and I didn't know him. And when I saw him the first time, he was, I saw his back, he's from the back, and he was kind of sideways talking to someone with that haircut. And for a moment, I thought, man, Jay Cutler is here. But it wasn't. It was William.
I think, I've said this many times about William in Global Muscle, but I see a lot of similarities between his physique and Dennis Wolf's. How does he feel about that?
Yeah, ele falou assim, cara, que te mostrou bastante já no show dele, que ele faz de notícias, e que ele fala muito que ele acha você muito parecido com o Dennis Wolf, que você é o Dennis Wolf com panturrilha. O que você acha disso?
White.
Cara, eu sou um grande fã do Dennis Wolf, então para mim é uma honra ser comparado tanto com ele quanto o Jay, né? Mas realmente o Dennis Wolf também tem a dorsal bem alta, né? Então eu acho que tem muita coisa parecida mesmo, a parte de ombro, assim, né? Então eu acho que realmente a analogia dele é bem coerente.
He said that he is a fan of Dennis Wolf, and he see those similarities because his lats are started a little higher as Dennis Wolf, mm-hmm. and his delts are wide and big and round, mm-hmm. and he's honored for being compared to him.
So, at the Portugal, what did he weigh on stage last year?
Ok, quando você pesou no palco em Portugal?
Portugal 123 e em Bahamas 125.
Ok, in Portugal 123 kilos, and in Puerto Rico 125 kilos. It's around 275 pounds.
Wow. So what I saw the progress pictures a few weeks ago at 280, the side chest. I think he was about 284 pounds. What is he now, and what does he estimate he will be on stage?
Ok. Ele falou que viu sua pose de peitoral de lado, outro dia, uma foto, e que você estava com 284 libras, 129 quilos, alguma coisa assim. E quanto que você está pesando agora?
Tô com o mesmo peso, entre 129 e 130, pela manhã.
Okay, he's weighing almost the same, guys. Right now, he's 130 kilos in the morning with an empty stomach. It's like, yeah, Jesus. It's like 280.
Wow, okay. And he's good. He's got a good shape as well. Pounds. I mean, 286 pounds, and he's got a beautiful shape.
Yeah, ele falou que você, cara, apesar de ser muito pesado e tá com, cara, tanto peso assim, seu shape continua muito bonito e estético, né?
Pô, muito obrigado. Obrigado mesmo.
Você faz um tempo para controlar a cintura, né, William?
Faço trabalho de vácuo, né, pela manhã. E tento controlar um pouco no treino, assim, nos exercícios mais básicos, né, para não para não me estender muito. E o trabalhinho de pranchas isométricas, né? Mas cinta, essas coisas assim, não uso não. É mais controle de treino, assim.
Yeah, guys, he's a freaky guy and he likes to be a freaky guy, but he is aware that he needs to keep some proportions, and he's working hard on his midsection. So he's doing vacuums and some ab exercises to keep his waist in control.
Is he excited for the Arnold Brazil and who he's going up against? Because obviously a lot of people are saying Rafael versus William, you know, really for me that's kind of the top two. You have other guys like Sibu Sisu, but does he see Rafael as the main competition in this event?
Cara, tem muito brasileiro que vai competir, né, no Arnold. E você sabe alguns, cara? O Bruno vai, né? O Thiago Lins vai.
Acho que o Bruno não. O Bruno vai só na
Bruno
ESA.
não?
Não.
Tá, o Thiago vai, né?
O Thiago vai, o Cruz vai.
Ah, tá.
O Boff vai.
Boff.
O Lins. O Jeff.
Ah, o Jefferson também, verdade.
E o Rafa, né?
O Rafael, mas o lance é, você vê o Rafael Brandão como seu maior adversário nesse show?
Com certeza, com certeza.
Guys, we have a lot of Brazilian... desculpa, William.
Não, aí de fora eu só vi 2 gringos, eu não sei, talvez até ele saiba. Um é aquele Emir, que tava em Praga, se não me engano, né? E um outro, acho que não sei que postou, alguém postou.
Um sul-africano.
Isso, esse mesmo. E eu não vi mais ninguém assim. Não sei se o pessoal tá meio quieto, ou não divulgou muito. O Emir eu fiquei sabendo porque eu troquei uma ideia com ele mesmo. Ele nem postou muita coisa.
E você acha que nesse cenário é o Brandão que o cara que você vai ali pegar pra brigar pelo...
Com certeza.
Guys, we have a few Brazilian guys going to this show. We have Thiago Lins, Marcelo Cruz. He did a few shows in Europe last year.
Okay, Marcel Cruz.
Jefferson Santos is an old school guy. He's improving a lot too. And we have a guy from South Africa. I don't remember his name. Sorry for that. And we have Emir.
Sibu Sisu Kutelo from South Africa.
Yeah.
He's very, very, very good. He's very good. And I heard you say the word Emir, who did Romania. He is fantastic as well. He got second in Spain to Angel Calderon. So he's in as well.
Right, that's right.
Wow. So it's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
Good show.
Yeah, there will be a great show. So William, right now, he sees that Rafael Brandão is his main competition.
Yeah.
But he said every one of these guys, they are great athletes.
Yeah. Is William going to be doing the New York Pro as well?
I'm sorry, Giles?
New York Pro, is William doing it?
Who?
New York Pro. Is William doing that as well?
Acho que ele tá pedindo quem vai ser o novo Pro do Arnold.
New York. Is he doing New York as well?
If he's going to New York?
Yeah, is he doing more shows as well as the Arnold Brazil?
Ok. Outros shows que você vai, cara? Você vai no New York?
Eu vou no Indy, que é 2 semanas depois do Arnold, Indy Pro, New York e Califórnia.
Oh, wow.
Ok.
A primeira instância é isso. Vamos ver se vai dar, mas a ideia é essa. Porque como eu já vou para lá, então preciso construir uma carreira na liga profissional, né? Então são 3 shows seguidos ali e é uma boa oportunidade dos jurados americanos me verem, né? Que eu nunca competi lá. Então eu acho importante para minha carreira fazer uma sequência de shows assim. Como eu vou estar lá, o Aceto também achou legal fazer uma sequência assim. Então, a princípio, a gente vai fazer isso.
Então é Indy, New York e Califórnia.
Wow.
Got that, guys?
Yeah, New York and the Cali Pro as well.
And in Indy Pro too.
Indy's doing Indy as well.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's going to be good. That's good. I've literally just interviewed another athlete from the Indy Pro, and I think it's going to be it's good that we've got so much to look forward to with these next few shows.
Yeah, he's doing that because he said there are 3 shows in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, but he said that I need to be known. I need to be the judges must know me, and I must show myself in the USA. So he's doing that.
Good. No, good. I'm very, very happy to hear that. And also, I'd like to ask William, what his feelings on the way that Brazilian bodybuilding in all the categories, all the male and female divisions is exploding right now, because there seems to be, everyone is talking about Brazilian bodybuilding.
Cara, ele perguntou o que você está achando dessa explosão brasileira em todas as categorias do bodybuilding nacional aí, aparecendo para o mundo e sendo falado, tanto no feminino quanto no masculino. O que você está achando disso tudo?
Eu acho fantástico, né? Até pouco tempo atrás, a gente tinha grandes atletas aqui no Brasil, grandes promessas, mas que ainda não tinham tido essa oportunidade de serem vistos, de serem conhecidos mundialmente, né? E a gente sempre foi uma sede muito forte do esporte. Então, com a Pro League, com tudo que aconteceu, esse boom aí, eu acho fantástico estar fazendo parte desse cenário maravilhoso, né? Os fãs do Brasil são muito fanáticos, né? Então, cara, é muito incrível isso, é muito legal mesmo. E é uma honra estar fazendo parte dessa história aí, eu tenho certeza que vai alavancar cada vez mais. O que a gente está vivendo hoje ainda é o começo de onde vai chegar.
Guys, he just said that this is only the beginning for Brazil, because we have so many great athletes here. He's very happy for being part of this and honored. And he said that we always had great athletes and a great scene here. What we just needed was an opportunity to show up or to be shown.
Yep.
And that's why he says it's only the beginning.
So, apart from himself, who is his favorite Brazilian athlete? Who does he think, out of all the categories, male, female, who is the one that he really likes the best?
Qual que é o seu atleta favorito no Brasil, cara? Feminino ou masculino, pode ser, mas qual que é o cara que você mais gosta no Brasil, assim?
Cara, é o Eduardo Correa. Eduardo Correa, que ele gravou aquele DVD Like Machine em 2011, 2010. Eu sei que eu estava bem no período para começar a competir, estava meio que assim. Então, acho que ele foi o pioneiro assim, de mostrar que o atleta que não tem suporte, não tem nada, também pode chegar e ir longe. O bodybuilding pode sim fazer coisas boas, né? Que antigamente todo mundo só falava mal, né? Que isso é perda de tempo e não sei o quê. Então você via um outro lado ali no DVD dele, né? A realização de um sonho, que o cara consegue ter um patrocínio, consegue ter uma vida melhor. Então, sem contar as lesões que ele teve ali, várias, o cara sempre volta e volta melhor. Então, assim, o mindset dele, para mim, é surreal. E o que ele fez, assim, ele abriu o caminho, acho que para todo mundo, né, cara?
Eu acho que sim, cara. Eu acho que mudou o paradigma, né, do Brasil, aquele DVD. Foi muito louco. Guys, his favorite athlete is Eduardo Correa.
Oh, wow.
For several reasons. For most of us, Eduardo is an idol because he was kind of the first guy of this generation. And he had so many injuries, but even with his injuries, he always came back stronger and better. And there is a fact. In 2000, I think it was 2011 or 12, he did a DVD named Like a Machine. And that DVD was very important for the sport in Brazil because he showed his life and he showed that it was possible to live as a professional athlete, that it was possible. And he taught so many things for us. Most Brazilian bodybuilders, they started eating oatmeal because of that DVD.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah. He literally teaches how to do a good oatmeal. and a good omelette. It seems a little thing, but for us it was so important. All those little things he did, and he is very important at building all these thing right now.
And I think Eduardo Correa, I saw him at Prague in the British Grand Prix in 2012, and for me, I think he's one of the most impressively conditioned athletes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Ele falou que viu o Correa no Grand Prix britânico e de Praga em 2012 e falou que foi um dos caras mais seco que ele já viu na vida dele. Assim.
Você olha assim, chega a dar um ruim, né, cara? Parece que tá estranho.
I don't know what we say, but I like it.
William said that when you see Eduardo's in contest shape, it's weird. It's kind of
skinned. It was like somebody had taken his skin off.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Incredible. Okay, before I let you go, anyone William would like to thank? Any sponsors? Any people he'd like to thank?
William falou assim que se tem alguém que você gostaria de agradecer, patrocinador ou alguém mais aí, para finalizar o episódio.
Gostaria de agradecer primeiramente a você pela oportunidade de estar aqui. Para mim é muito importante também ser visto no cenário internacional, então muito obrigado. Gostaria de agradecer também a você, Miguel, por ter feito aí essa ponte, né? Você está sempre sendo mensageiro, né, cara? Eu sempre falo que vocês que são o porta-voz do esporte, vocês que fazem as coisas acontecer, né? Se ninguém trouxer a informação, ela fica perdida, então vocês são o porta-voz, então vocês têm uma contribuição muito importante para o esporte estar onde que está. Agradecer a Probiótica, que é um patrocinador oficial, então eles me proporcionam hoje competir em alto nível, conseguir fazer uma preparação como um atleta profissional deve fazer. Ao Pacholok, que está todo dia puxando meus treinos, com comprometimento e amizade. Ao Zan, que é meu parceiro de treino, a minha esposa, e todo mundo que está envolvido aí, os fãs, e o pessoal que acompanha tanto do Brasil quanto nos Estados Unidos e no mundo.
Vamos ver se eu lembro de todo mundo. Guys, he first thank you.
Hang on, I think he's thanked all of Brazil there.
Yeah.
Everyone. Sorry.
Because guys like you help show the Brazilian athletes for the world, so he's very grateful to that. His sponsor, Probiotica, which provides him all he needs to be a professional athlete and perform like a professional athlete, and he just doesn't need to worry about anything. And his wife, his coach, his trainer, Fabrício Pacholok, his training partner, Gabriel Zancanelli. Gabriel Zancanelli, he's a great classic physique guy. He competed at the Olympia last year.
Okay.
Você também, né?
He won Puerto Rico. Chris Aceto, he's thanking him. And quem mais? O William, acho que foi todo mundo, né, cara?
Todo mundo, e você, né?
and me, too. But,
and also whoever taught him his shoulder routine, because his delts are absolutely exploding there.
Ele acha que você pode fazer acho que seu treino foi de ombro agora, porque parece que eles vão explodir. Então,
the shoulders, man, my God. Wow! Fantastic. Freaky shoulders, man.
Faz um peitoralzinho de lado aí, William, pros caras. Sentado mesmo aí, só o braço.
Yeah!
Look at that.
Awesome. Very good. Cool. Well, I just want to thank him so much, and yourself, Miguel, for coming on and helping us translate, because I want to be able to help the non-speaking English out, especially ones as good as William Martins, because I said I've been watching this guy for the last year, and I am so impressed, and I'm so happy that he's doing Indy, New York Pro, the Arnold Brazil, the Cali Pro, and I think I've got a feeling we will see him at the Olympia this year, and I'm really excited to see Rafael versus William. I'm very almost as excited as Marcelo versus Ramon, but that's a separate argument. But Rafael versus William, I tell you what, Rafael better bring his A game, because if he doesn't, I think he's in trouble.
O Ian, primeiro ele falou assim que me te acompanhando aí, acha que você vai se dar muito bem esse ano, ele tá muito feliz, vai fazer vários shows na sequência, e que ele tem o sentimento que você vai estar no Olympia esse ano. E que ele tá muito ansioso para ver esse embate aí de você com o Brandão, que se o Brandão não tomar cuidado e não chegar a 100%, você pode ali papar e beliscar. E que ele tá... Tem dois confrontos que ele tá muito animado para ver, que é você versus Brandão e o Ramon versus o Horse também. Mas, assim, isso aí é uma outra história e tal. E é isso, cara.
O público aqui no Brasil também está bem ansioso para ver esse confronto, né? Então, eu sei que são duas linhas completamente diferentes, né? Freak versus estética ali. Então, a gente vai trazer um grande show para o Brasil, tenho certeza que vai ser épico. E os fãs vão à loucura, tenho certeza disso.
He said that all Brazilian fans are waiting for this match between him and Rafael Brandão. It's kind of a freaky guy, Ian, against a more aesthetical guy, Rafael. So it's going to be a great show for the fans.
Well, as Marcelo said a few weeks ago, Brazil is hungry.
Yeah. We are very hungry in every aspect. And let's see, this year is going to be great for us.
Totally agree. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming to MD Global Muscle. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the next few shows and to see William, because I think Brazil and just these incredible athletes like William, I think they're gonna tear at the pro ranks in all the divisions, every single division. So I want to wish him all the very best of luck for his contests, and I do expect to see him at the Olympia in December.
Ok, thank you, Giles. Ele falou que, cara, tá muito ansioso para ver os seus shows aí, espera te ver no Olympia, o William.
A gente vai estar lá. Vou fazer uma outra entrevista quando tiver com a vaga. A gente conversar sobre
he's saying that he wants to be here again when he got his spot at the Olympia.
Do it. Let's do it. Yes. Okay, deal. That's a deal.
That's a deal.
That's a deal.
Okay,
guys. Thank you so much for coming to MD Global Muscle, and I'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you, Giles. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, speak to you soon, guys. Bye-bye. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the Unrise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. I'm joined all the way from somewhere in America, Yumon Eaton.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Yumon, I said somewhere in America because I completely forgot to ask where you're from. I'm assuming it's East Coast.
Yes, South Florida.
Oh, South Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, now, Yumon, we've never spoken before. I literally reached out to you the other day because I saw your progress pictures for the Indy Pro, and I was really impressed. And I'm aware of your name. I've seen it pop up, but this really caught my attention. So can you, obviously you're doing the Indy in several weeks. Can you give us a little bit of background on yourself, contest history?
Yes. First of all, I really appreciate that. Thank you. And, it really means a lot to me. So I've put a lot into this prep, my coach and I, Jose Raymond. So the fact that you did reach out to me and the fact that you're saying this means the world to me, because this is it, man. This is where we make a statement. This year we're not going to get our feet wet. We're coming to make a statement, and we're bringing it. So I actually started competing when I was 19 years old, and I'm 35 now. So, this has been a long time coming. But I was a national competitor for my first nationals. I was 25 when I did my first nationals. So it took me about 8 years to turn pro. And I was kind of my first nationals. I ended up in fourth place, I believe. Yeah, it was fourth place.
In your first nationals?
Yes.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and I right away I'm thinking, okay, I've got this. I'm going to be a pro soon. And, it just took a little bit longer than expected. And it really just came down to me and my mindset. I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't turn pro right away, and it took me some time, because I honestly, I just didn't have the mindset of a pro. wasn't entirely dedicated to the diet. You know, I always trained hard, but, you know, I skipped cardio sessions, I skipped meals, and yeah, that's you can't do that when you're in preparation for a pro show like I am now. So, like I said, I'm actually kind of glad that it took me a while, because my mindset is so completely different now, being older and being more mature. And I mean, basically what it all came down to these last couple of years, I got tired of losing. You know, I got tired of getting beat by guys that I knew I could beat, guys that I knew I was better than. The only thing separating myself from them was they were outworking me. And, you know, I made a deliberate, conscious decision to not let that happen again. So I earned my pro card at the Olympia in 2020, at the end of 2020 in December. I took about a year and a half off because you know, a lot of guys jump right into the pro ranks, and it usually doesn't do well unless you're a guy like Phil Heath or someone who can jump right in and make a huge splash. It just doesn't usually end well. But I wanted to make sure that when I made my pro debut, I was ready. You know, when I turned pro, I had some issues that I needed to bring up. I had some imbalances, and I just wanted to make sure that I was 100% completely prepared to do serious damage at the pro level before we decided to do a pro show. And that's why I reached out to Jose Raymond. I had never worked with a coach before, and I made the decision to reach out to him because I said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. So that's where I'm at now, 5 weeks from the Indy Pro and 6 weeks from New York Pro.
Oh, so you're doing the New York Pro as well as the Indy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, fantastic! And also, what a place to turn pro at, the Amateur Olympia at the Olympia in Las Vegas. I mean, what was that like? I mean, surely because it's great to turn pro, but if you turn pro at a kind of like the Nationals or something like the Amateur Olympia or some big kind of almost international event, you know, I think it must give you a lot more, maybe a bit more confidence and a bit more indication of your potential.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm really glad you said that because I've always felt that way. You know, I was the type of guy, and, you know, no offense to anyone who turns pro in a smaller level show or the Masters division or anything like that. So, you know, please don't take anything I'm about to say, personally, but just for me personally, I said to myself, if I ever do turn pro, I want to do it at one of the big shows, the Nationals, the USAs, the Amateur Olympia, something like that. And, you know, I didn't want to do it in the Masters division, or basically I wanted to compete with the best talent in the world, because I knew if I could beat those guys, then that basically solidified where I stood, you know, in the pro ranks, you know, or not necessarily in the pro ranks, but what my potential could be in the pro ranks. So it felt good. It really did. It was a long time coming, and I put a lot of work and effort and time and sweat and, you know, everything into that prep. And a little backstory, you know, I'm not going to get too deep into this because it's a long, drawn out story, but a couple years prior to that, I basically thought that my career was over in bodybuilding. I had a pretty significant injury that you know, I was basically told that I would never ever pick up a dumbbell again. Wow. And, you know, forget about competing.
Really?
Yeah, I had a freak accident in the gym, and I actually ended up rupturing my liver while doing a leg press.
What?
And yeah, I know.
How do you even rupture your liver? And you did it in the gym?
Yeah. Every time I tell this story, people are just like, "What?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I was now what's funny is not funny but ironic is I was actually 3 weeks out. This was 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
2018. I was actually 3 weeks out from the Amateur Olympia that year when this happened. And, I was on a leg press, training with a trainer that I probably shouldn't have been training with, but, I'm not placing any blame anywhere. It was my decision, and, I'll own up to that. But anyways, I was doing something I just really shouldn't have been doing at that time.
Okay. We've all done it, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way too much weight. And I was just too close to the show, too depleted, too lean, and just not enough support. And I actually ended up rupturing my liver. As I came down, all of that internal pressure built up and basically caused, I know, basically hair in the major artery that supplies blood flow to the liver. So,
my God.
Yeah. I was rushed into emergency surgery. Doctors basically told me if I had arrived less than an hour later, I would have been dead. I can go on and on and on about everything, but the first hospital I went to, they told me it was nothing I could do, and I was going to. Doctor literally told me that this is a fatal injury. There's nothing we can do for you, and you're going to die here.
Wow.
Back with another trauma center down here. They transported me there, and they told me the same thing. And I'm not really sure how this happened, but somehow they got in contact with a liver transplantation specialist.
Yeah.
Cleveland Clinic here. And I didn't have a liver transplant, but they flew him in. I got transported to another trauma center, and they flew him in, and that doctor was able to save my life. And from that point on, they basically told me the life I lived and, the world I knew was over. They told me, forget about competing. I'll probably never pick up a dumbbell again. They said I'll never train again, never work out again. And, like I said, my life as I knew it was over. And it was a long, lengthy recovery. I mean, I was in the ICU for 2 weeks. I couldn't walk by myself for weeks. When I did start walking, I needed a walker. And
so how were you functioning without your liver? I mean, how long was it before your liver started to function again? I mean, so I just wondering how you physically stayed alive with your liver in this kind of this trauma state.
Yeah, it was so basically once the surgeon, like I said, they got me into emergency surgery. I mean, I needed 7 blood transfusions. That's how much blood.
Wow.
Needed 7 blood transfusions.
Yeah.
But basically what they did was they went in and inserted beads and they cauterized the wound. And, after that, the recovery process basically began immediately. I just had to be very careful and focus on recovery. And like I said, and when I say focus on recovery, I mean, this was about 1.5 years of recovery. And I was in daily chronic pain, and I mean severe chronic pain for probably 2 years. I was almost non-functional. But
so this was what? Sorry, you said. I'm sure you said 2018. So this was 2018 up to when?
When did I competed again? I competed again at the end of 2019.
Okay, so I'm just trying to the speed at which you
yeah. So it took, like I said, it took about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And I wasn't fully recovered when I competed again at the end of 2019. And I know a lot of people, say I'm out of my mind, but the liver itself was healthy. I had many CAT scans. I mean, every 3 months I had to get a CAT scan. Almost every month for the first year, I had to have an ultrasound just to check the scar tissue. And I had a huge hematoma on the liver that had encapsulated. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, I know. it was it was a mess. And they basically, after I'd say about 1.5 years, they kind of gave me the green light, not to compete, obviously, but that everything was completely healed, and my liver was functioning properly, and it was almost like miraculous. Nobody could believe what happened. I mean, by all accounts, I shouldn't be here right now. I mean, everyone said they told me they had never seen a person. I was the first person they had ever seen come in with that type of injury and survive. They actually made me a case study because
wow.
I swear to God.
People doing papers on you like for their PhDs. This guy's an anomaly.
They made me a case study so that they have a reference, in case future accidents like this ever happen. And they also couldn't believe it happened training, because they said the only time they've ever seen an injury like that is, from a car accident or something like that, But, fast forward to, like I said, it was just a long, I'm not going to get into pretty detail because it's a lot, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Yumon, I'm curious about, obviously you're this one-off case, and obviously you're someone, you compete, you bodybuild. I'm just wondering if there's a connection between your recovery and maybe your bodybuilding life, because sometimes people say like bodybuilding lifestyle is not healthy, it's not this, but I've heard these kinds of stories, like extraordinary stories where, okay, you've snapped this, you've done this, you've had this injury, you'll never walk properly again, you'll never train again, and then you hear these incredible stories, people like yourself, that basically, rewrite the book. So what do you think, what did they take away from your particular case? If you can just answer that, if you know.
No, that's actually a great question, because that is what the doctors told me. They said the only reason that you're still here is because you're young and healthy and you take such good care of yourself. Wow. That they said like I said, by all accounts, I should not have survived that accident. They said the only reason I survived. And there was a lot more to it. Like I said, I'm not going to get into all the details, but there was just a lot more. I mean, like I said, I remember it was just, it was nuts, man. It was just, I still can't believe, what I went through. I mean, it was one of the most it was the most painful, mentally mentally and physically challenging things I've ever gone through in my entire life. And, I made it through, but, I mean, I just remember, cause it didn't happen right away. I believe what happened was in the gym, I probably caused like a small nick in the artery. And this happened over the course of about 18 or 19 hours. I went home afterwards and I felt fine and developed a dull ache in the lower right quadrant of my abdominals. And, it just got progressively worse as the hours went by, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on. And I think what happened was, so I started becoming really distended, and I didn't know if it was gas or something I ate, maybe it was just like inflammation of the stomach lining. I didn't know what was going on, but my stomach became really distended, and it was actually the blood seeping into my stomach. So I really nauseous at one point, like really nauseous. And I just remember running to the bathroom and projectile vomiting blood and I think it was such a violent vomit. I think that's what actually completely severed the artery, because, like the blood came out and I immediately passed out.
The force.
I mean, it was just, It was a rough recovery. Like I said, I won't get into all the details, but it was a long, drawn out, rough recovery. And, from being told that I would never work out again or train again. And I think I'm just saying this to kind of touch on, what I brought up earlier. After all of this happened, I realized that tomorrow is not guaranteed, and one thing the thing that scares me the most in life, more so than anything, is having regrets. Now, I don't ever want to look back on my life 20 years from now and wonder what if, to me, that there's nothing scarier than that. That's scarier than dying to me. And, all these years that I had spent just kind of like not taking advantage of my full potential, I was done with that. I said, if I'm ever Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I said if I can ever step on stage again, you know, I'm giving it everything I have, and I'm not going to yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. No,
I always get a little emotional when I discuss this, but basically, I got tired of losing to guys that I knew I was better than, and I said if I was ever able to step on stage again, because when something's been taken from you, when something's been stripped from you, it changes you.
Yeah.
When I realized that I was healthy enough to continue doing this and get back, I had literally been given a second chance to chase my dream and make this lifelong dream and goal of mine a reality. And I said, I'm not going to let anything, absolutely anything, stand in my way of accomplishing this. So I went to work, you know, I put in serious work. I dieted hard. I trained hard. I didn't skip meals. I didn't skip cardio sessions. And I came back to competing in 2019 after, you know, a year and a half. And people thought I was crazy, but I missed my class. I did the Bermuda. I won my class there and missed my pro card by 1 point. And the following year, I did the Olympia and won that. So
wow. Do you know what? One observation. I mean, I've spoke to Flex Wheeler. Obviously, I do the show with Ronnie Coleman, and you know, and I've spoke to them, and it's nothing like facing either, say, your own mortality, or saying you'll never compete, you'll never train again. There's something about facing that gives, that when they do recover, it gives a kind of renewed sense of perspective and sort of meaning and purpose. You know, it's like, okay, I thought I'd never be able to train and compete again. Now I can. Now I'm just going to give it absolutely everything, and I'm just going to fulfill my potential because, you know, because of where you've come from to where you are. It's almost like there's a sense of gratitude and a kind of appreciation for the fact that you're just healthy and you can do what you love.
Absolutely, 100%, and you know, that's what it was. I mean, you said it perfectly. That's exactly what it was. Like I said, you know, when you take things for granted sometimes, you know, and I took, like everybody said, like, you know, I don't like to play the genetic card and this and that, but I guess for a long time, you know, I took for granted, you know, this sport because genetically it was easy for me to get in shape or build muscle. I had a nice structure or whatever, but you know what? That's not enough. Yeah. It's not enough. Yeah. And, you know, it took me a long time to realize that. And, you know, when this was almost taken from me, it changed me. Like you just said, it made me realize, you know, if this is something I really want to do, which it is, then I need to go to work. And, you know, one thing that people don't realize, you know, to be successful at this level, it's got to hurt, man. You know, you got to be willing to suffer. And guys just don't want to suffer the way you have to suffer to be successful at this level. And I never wanted to. It took me a long time to get here, but now I'm willing to hurt, and I am hurting. And that's why I look the way I do now. That's why I've made the most progress in these last couple of years since my accident that I ever have in the entire 15 years prior to that. You know, I made a conscious, deliberate decision to be willing to suffer. You know, I just said, you know, if this is what it takes, then I'm willing to do it, period.
I remember speaking to I won't say his name, a very high profile coach that had a very high profile athlete. And he said, basically the athlete had a family member that was very sick and nearly died and survived and beat it. And he said before that happened to this athlete, he said he was a bit of he needed 24-hour care and really holding his hand, and he said he was an effing nightmare to prep. He said then this thing happened to him, this huge life-changing, perspective-changing kind of, you know, reassessing everything in his life happened. He said, and after that, he said it's just like, he said he just changed completely because he wasn't, like you said, he wasn't taking anything for granted. He realized that the people we love and all these things that we have can be taken away from us at any point. So it's like now you've got the opportunity to fulfill your potential. It's like you are really not taking it for granted.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, I couldn't say that any better myself, because that's the exact situation I'm in right now.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like I mean, okay, let's talk about the prep. That's what I was going to say is there's a lot of people who have potential. I mean, you could look around in any gym and you could say that guy's got potential and he might not even compete. You can go to an amateur show, a national level show, and say that guy's got so much potential. And so many of them don't even actually reach it. But actually, this kind of life-changing thing happened to you, and it's given this kind of like fire under your ass where I think you maybe might not have this kind of mindset that do you know what I mean? You need to really be the best possible version that you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with that. And, you know, I don't really like the phrase, you know, a blessing in disguise. It sounds so cliche and I don't like using that phrase, but I mean, I guess for lack of better words, it kind of was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
It took something so horrific. I mean, it was the worst experience of my entire life, having to deal with that and go through that. It took something so awful, so terrible to change my thinking and get me to the point where I am now. Because honestly, if that hadn't happened, I don't know where I'd be right now. You know, I don't know. I'm really not sure I'd be here speaking to you right now about my pro debut. You know, I'm not sure what happened. Is that it just something in me changed. Something changed. I said, and it wasn't like a gradual, slow change, you know, like kind of like, you know, maturing. It wasn't like that. It was like overnight. You know, when I decided that I was going to come back to the stage, I said to myself, things are changing, you know, things are changing. I'm going to make this happen, period. Like, I don't care what it takes. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care how badly it hurts. This is going to happen. And I never had that kind of mindset before this.
Final question on this topic, but what was the first thing that pops into your mind, what was the hardest point for you, the darkest point, and how did you pull yourself from that?
I actually never shared this before, but I remember I had basically come to grips with the fact that things had changed, you know, and I started working with I started working with athletes, you know, competitors, and not just competitors, but like I've prepared some guys for the NFL Combine, MMA fighters. Awesome. Yeah, because my whole thing was if I'm not able to do this anymore, this is something I had such a passion for, you know, something that I genuinely enjoyed and had love for. If I'm not able to do this myself, then I want to help others achieve what I wasn't able to. So I started working with athletes and competitors following this. And, you know, you're asking what the darkest part was. The reason I'm saying this is because I'd kind of come to grips with the fact that I wouldn't be on stage again, and I wouldn't be doing this any longer. And I was just kind of giving my attention to my clients. And I remember one day I walked by a mirror, and I didn't recognize myself. And I just broke down. I've actually never shared this with anyone, but I just broke down. And I literally didn't recognize myself. So that was just mentally, like, not physically, like all the pain that I endured, and that mentally was the hardest part, just overcoming that part. Yeah. You know, that was definitely the darkest point in all of this.
So I'm guessing even when you're on prep now, even when it's really hard in those days where you literally got to get up early and do the cardio and you're really struggling and the carbs are low and Jose's pushing you to your absolute limits and, you know, the body fat's low, Is it those times that kind of say, okay, well, you know, this is of my choosing, and this is what I need to do to be great. You know, do you ever think and compare it to give some perspective?
Absolutely. I don't care. I want to win.
Yeah.
Very few people in life get a second chance. Now, I've been given this second chance. I mean, like, who would have ever thought me laying in that hospital bed back then that I'd be here today talking to you about my pro debut? Yeah. So I don't care how badly it hurts. I don't care. I want this, and that's all that matters to me. I don't care.
So you're working with our good friend, the awesome Jose Raymond. What's that been like, and how did it come around? And just take us through it.
Yeah, man. I love Jose, man. Like,
he's cool.
I love that guy. He's the best. Jose's the man. What's funny is, so going back to the show in Bermuda, like kind of like my comeback, you know, that was the first show I competed in since my accident. So that was kind of like my comeback. So Jose had an athlete in that show in my class, and I actually ended up winning my class at that show, and Jose was there. Mm-hmm. Jose and I spoke briefly, and he was like, "Wow, you know, you look really good." And he came up to me backstage. It was the weirdest thing, because I was backstage, he was with his guy, and I'm like, damn, that's Jose Raymond, you know? Like, I'm a fan.
Yep.
And he came up to me, and he came up, shook my hand, and he goes, Yumon, right? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, how does he know me? Hey, well, I've been paying attention to you, and, you know, you look really good. And he was just like, you know, congrats on your comeback, and, you know, you look great, and good luck at the show. And he said, you know, I'm a fan of yours. And I was just like, what? I was like, this, what? You know, it was just, I was in awe. But
it's great. Sorry, it's great. It's great when the bodybuilders are actually fans of the sport and actually actively follow it. Because someone like a Jose Raymond or you know, you could bump into, say, like a Brandon Correa, and they'll go, "Yeah, I know you. I saw you. I was impressed by you." You know, it's great. It's really exciting. But athletes like yourself always, it's a real like honor when they come up to you and go, "Yeah, Yumon." You know, it's exciting.
It really is. It really is. It's really cool when, you know, guys that you look up to, because you mentioned Brandon Curry, and I met Brandon. Brandon and I have known each other through social media over the years, but I met Brandon in Boston, at the Boston Pro in a gym, and, you know, he came up to me and we spoke as well, and it was kind of the same deal with him. So it was really cool. I was just like, wow, you know, to hear that from Brandon Curry. But same thing with Jose. So and then, you know, that was basically the end of it, and he went his way and I went mine, and I never forgot about him, though. That stayed in my head. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I saw the progress he made with the guy, his client that I actually beat in that show, because his client turned pro. I'm not sure if it was right before me or right after me, but we turned pro pretty close to each other. And I just saw the huge, massive improvements that his client made. I mean, he looked phenomenal. It was a different bodybuilder than the guy I competed against. So, you know, like I said, going into my prep for this show, I said, I basically want to cross every T and dot every I. You know, no stones unturned, and I want to do this correctly. I want to do this the right way. So it was really no other person I had in mind. Like, no one. I said, if I'm going to work with somebody, it's going to be him. I just felt drawn to him. I felt this connection with him. It's hard to explain. I really can't explain it because I didn't know him personally. You know, when we met, he was just so friendly and open, and you could tell he was a genuinely good dude. Mm-hmm. And, you know, his the progress that his clients made, and obviously what he did with his career, you know, speaks for itself. So that was the guy, man. Like, there was literally no one else that I wanted to work with. You know, I said, if I'm going to work with somebody, it's going to be Jose. So
what was the kind of the biggest changes he implemented that made the you know, the significant improvements to your physique?
Food.
Yeah. I keep hearing that, you know, from when I asked that question, like I've asked Ronnie Coleman when he worked with Chad Nichols, and he'll say, like, the main thing was, I take care of my own training. It's the food, it's the increase, and it's the change, That's where a lot of people are falling down.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, I've never been a big eater. I mean, I'm still not a big eater, but he's got me eating. I was eating like 2-3 meals a day, and the rest. And I was actually able to turn pro that way. And Jose was like, no, dude. He was like, we're going to eat. He's got me 6 meals a day.
Good.
Like real solid food, 6 meals. I have one shake post-training, and that's it. The rest of it's food. And I've never eaten this much in my life. So definitely the food, 100%.
I think that's one thing I've always been, because I've spent a lot of time around pros, and, I've trained, I've competed, and, because for when I was competing at a much lower body weight, the amount of food I had to eat just to look like that. And I speak to a lot of pros. I'm blown away by that. They have that, I was only on 3 meals a day, and this, and they're competing at a national level, and it's funny how that one small change, well, it's kind of big change really, can really, the thing is, it's so logical. It just seems like such an obvious thing. It seems like, so Jose must have looked at that and said, well, I know where I can make big improvements on Yumon.
Absolutely. And like you said, you're right. It seems like a small change, but it's huge, and it's like a logical thing. It's like, okay, well, you need to eat more. You're only eating twice a day, so when he and I started together, I think I was 223, like not an off-season shape. I think I was 223.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I stay pretty lean year round. I don't ever get out of shape, but still off-season shape. I don't know, maybe 11 or 12% body fat, maybe 13%.
Okay. Wow.
223. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 233 now. 220, 233 later in the day, and in the morning, bone dry, after the bathroom, no food, no water, around 225, 226.
Sorry, Yumon, how tall are you? Sorry to interrupt. How tall are you?
No problem at all. I'm 5'8".
5'8", because in those photos, I would have estimated you look 3-4 inches taller, because you're, just from looking at the photos I saw, those progress pictures, you look a lot taller.
Yeah. It's I guess like I get that a lot because of like my bone structure.
Yeah.
I've got like the wide shoulders, small waist, very small bones. The joints, my wrist joints are tiny, my elbow joints are tiny, my ankle joints. So I give a much bigger appearance than I actually am. I mean, I'm not a huge guy, but a lot of people, like, you see me on stage, and I'm standing next to guys that are 240, and I look bigger than them. And
you do.
Bodybuilding's an illusion. That's all it is. So it's just my body type and my bone structure. I'm naturally an ectomorph, so I have very, very small bone structure, and round, full muscle bellies, which really helps with that illusion.
I was really impressed with your kind of like separation and conditioning as well, because your conditioning even now, those last pictures, well, how many weeks out were those ones we saw?
The
most recent ones.
6 weeks.
I mean, your condition, if that's 6 weeks out, your condition was very, very good for 6 weeks out.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's Jose's thing, man.
Yeah.
He's like, and obviously with himself, the way he looked on stage when he competed, that's he's all about condition.
Yep.
And every day we speak, he tells me, hey, you look great, but you need to look greater. He goes, that's
keep pushing. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good coach.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's not there to blow smoke up your asses. He's there to tell you, like, okay, then you look great. That's great for today, but we can get better and better, because at the end of the day, you need to be your absolute. It's pointless him telling you like a week before, oh, I wish we'd bought better conditioning, because you need to look your absolute, and you need to, like you said, you do need to go suffer a little bit as well.
Absolutely. And that's his thing, like we spoke the other day, and he was just like, look, dude, he goes, from the front, you're as hard right now as guys are going to be on stage next to you on show day. Yep. He goes, you're that hard now. He goes, but that's not good enough for me. He said, we want you inside out peeled. Yeah. He said, because we're not going there for a win. He said, we're going there to make a statement. And I'm on board. I said, let's do it, Jose. You know, I'm 100% on board, because that's my goal here. You know, we're not just going for a win. You know, first place isn't enough. Like, we're going to make a statement. We're making noise in Indiana, and then on to New York. So
yeah, I think is I don't even have to ask, but I can see usually when I speak to someone a few weeks out from a show, I can see whether they're feeling good or they're really struggling. You look good, and that's a very good sign when you're looking good and you're quiet and your energy is high. I mean, I spoke to Samson. I spoke to Samson a few weeks ago, and I said, Samson, I was at his house. I said, Samson, you're like 3 weeks out from the Arnold Classic. I said, I've seen you. You look incredible, but your energy and your yes, you should be pushed and you should be suffering, but you shouldn't be like a zombie. Is basically what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's the thing. I remember. I used to train with Flex Lewis years ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he and I were training partners. We're going way back now, way before the injury. But I remember Flex saying the same thing, you know, and we talked about that often. And this was still when I didn't have that kind of mindset yet. You know, he would always try to tell me, look, like, you know, because he would, every day I'd come in, he'd be like, how many meals have you had? And I'd say, well, you know, today. And he'd cut me off right there. He'd be like, dude, he goes, there's no such thing as bad days. He goes,
I love it. Yeah.
Because I'd be like, well, today hasn't been a good day. He goes, what do you mean it's not a good day? He goes, there's no such thing as bad days.
Yep.
He goes, you don't skip meals, bro. You can't skip meals.
Yeah.
And but he would always touch on that. You know, he'd say, you have to be willing to suffer. It's a fine line.
Mm-hmm.
He'd always say you have to be willing to suffer, but you shouldn't feel like ill. You shouldn't feel sick. You know, the fatigue is normal. You know, the exhaustion is normal, but that's where it should end. You know, if you get to the point where you're feeling sick, or you're not feeling well, or, you know, you think something's wrong, that's not the signs of a good prep. And I've heard pros talk like that. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's a sign of a good prep. You know, when I start feeling like I have the flu, it's like, what?
Do you know what? I think it usually comes down to two factors. It either comes down to that they're taking it, the chemical side is wrong. It's either too much, or they're not taking the best quality. And the other thing is the nutrition, because I've seen those guys. I remember there was one particular gym I used to sometimes train at, and all the guys from that gym always came in shredded, but they would do a couple of shows, and then they'd disappear. They'd never compete again, because I actually looked into it a little bit, and their diet it would be like turkey, broccoli, Udo's oil 6 times a day. And it was like, well, you're not going to get yes, you're giving yourself what you need to kind of, but health-wise, internally, are you really giving your body all the nutrients it needs to really, because, you know, you're pushing your body, you're trying to get more muscular, you're trying to get leaner, you know, you're trying to have enough energy to train and function. And some of these people, they just weren't, their nutritional bases weren't conducive to actually being able to function properly outside of the gym.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. You know, and that's a really good point. I'm so glad you brought that up. That is an excellent point, because it goes beyond just performance and wanting to look good for show. You know, especially, you know, what I've been through, like, health is my number one priority.
Yeah.
And you know, if you can't have nutritional gaps, like, just because you're dieting doesn't mean you have nutritional gaps in your diet.
Yeah.
You still need those healthy fats. You still need carbohydrates. You still need all of those micronutrients. It's just in the proper amounts and the proper, it's all about nutrient partitioning. It's all about timing, getting the right nutrients in at the right time for the right reasons. And a lot of people just completely neglect that for the sake of chasing endless, you know, conditioning. And that's when you start seeing guys get sick and have problems and kidney issues. And, you know, of course you want to be in shape and you want to look good, but not at the expense of your health, you know. And to me, that's just poor coaching or poor education, because you can get shredded. You can get absolutely peeled and shredded and still have a well-balanced diet. You don't have to absolutely starve yourself to get in shape, you know.
That's one thing I learned from Flex's coach, Neil Hill. I used to look at his diets. He put other athletes, and I would speak to him, because I've been friends with Neil since 1994. And, you know, it was a variety of foods will give a variety of nutrients. And he said, that's for like healthy. And I mean, I've sometimes seen competitors and you see them on stage and they look incredible, but then I see them I'm taking photos of something backstage and you see them close and they've got bloodshot or yellow eyes and their skin looks bad and their hair looks bad. And you just think, I would love to see your blood work.
Oh my God. I know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned something earlier and I'm not going to get too detailed about that, but you mentioned, me still being, feeling good, looking good, and being, obviously the fatigue is there, but somewhat energetic, this deep in the prep. And you mentioned the chemical side has a lot to do with it, and you're absolutely right, because I'll tell you, man, this is the absolute healthiest I have felt ever doing any prep. Well, not ever. I mean, I competed naturally for many, many, many years before I made it to the national stage, but you know what I mean? In a very long time. I'll say that. This is the healthiest I've felt in a very long time. And, it's amazing because of the strides we've made. I've in the improvements we've made to my physique. I'm so much bigger. I'm so much fuller, yet so much harder. So the last time I competed, I'm actually harder today at 5 weeks out, or just under 5 weeks. I'm actually harder today than I was on stage when I won my.
Wow, fantastic! That's good.
And I'm 23 pounds heavier.
Shit. Wow, that's fantastic.
And it's food.
Yeah.
Because I feel great, and this is the most conservative. This is the most conservative approach to a prep that I've ever taken. As far as the supplements go.
Yeah. I mean, and plus if you're training and your diet and your recovery is on point, supplementation, then really and you've got good quality other supplements, then I think you can maximize what you want out of that, because sometimes I think people think it's just about more stricter diet and harder diet and training harder, but there's a delicate balance between quality and quantity is basically what I'm hinting at.
100%. Absolutely. Like you said, I think a lot of guys it's one of two things or both. They're either doing way too much or it's bad quality. And, some guys, it's probably both,
Yeah. I mean, if it's bad quality, your body can't assimilate it. It's like with food. It's like with supplements. It's like everything. If your body's switching to food quality. I remember Jay Cutler was the first one he was the one who started looking into the quality of his meats. Like he was the one who wanted organic, grass-fed. I mean, obviously he could afford it, because obviously it's quite expensive. But now we have all these food prep companies, and and that is actually it's more of a factor now than it was 10, 20 years ago. So because the quality of your food as well as your supplements, as well as everything else, I think does play. I think it plays a big part.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's no question. I mean, anybody who would argue that point is just, they're just not thinking properly. I mean, obviously, quality over everything. When it comes to supplementation, when it comes to the chemicals, when it comes to food, everything, you have to have that quality there. Yeah. I don't think there's anything more important than that. It's just like the quality of your training.
Yeah.
I don't care how. I don't care how many hours you spend in the gym. If the intensity and quality isn't there, then you're not going to benefit as well from it. So it's all about quality in everything you do. So
I remember Dorian Yates and Dexter Jackson were two that sort of said, look, it's not how long you're in the gym. It's basically the quality of what you actually do when you're bloody there,
100%. Absolutely. And I'm not a fan of, these 2-hour workouts. Like I'm in and out, when I train, our workouts are usually 45 minutes, no longer than an hour, 45, 50 minutes. And, we don't play around. We get in, we get out, we do what we have to do, and we're done, And it's just high intensity. I don't train heavy anymore. I was actually a power lifter before I got into bodybuilding.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, and a football player. So, I was used to lifting heavy.
Good foundation as well.
Yeah, right. And that's, ask me, about my back, because I guess that's my strongest body part, the thickness and the density on my back. And I always say into my traps, everybody freaks out over my traps.
Cool. Nice.
And I always tell them, they always say, how I don't even train traps. And they always say, how'd you get your back so thick? How'd you get your traps so big? And I tell them football. I mean, honestly, Like it was literally, football and powerlifting, the heavy deads, the heavy bent row, the shrugs that we did in football and all of that. So, like you said, that really did help build the foundation, and it just transferred over into bodybuilding. But because of that, when I did start bodybuilding, I always trained very heavy. And since my accident, I've completely refocused the way I train. Everything now is all about, proper execution, focusing on the contraction, really big on variation, different angles, and blood volumization. So everything's completely different now. Everything's just about isolation, variation, muscle confusion, and proper execution. Just really focusing on the proper contraction. So,
two of the biggest things I'm going to take away from this conversation is the mindset aspect of what it needs to be the best possible version that you can be, and also the quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's the two things that I'm going to take away. I think the people watching this are going to really take away from this and learn from this, that is absolutely crucial to success.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, and that's just to be successful in anything,
Yeah.
Really anything in life. It's got to be quality over quantity. I don't care how much, how often, or if it's quality, then it's pointless in anything. So yeah, I mean, it's the quality of your food, it's the quality of your supplements, it's the quality of your training, it's the quality of your sleep. It's everything.
Yep.
It's all about quality, not quantity, quality. So I agree with that 100%. Absolutely.
Yumon, obviously I'm interviewing Dave Bowers for the Pro League Hype Show. I think hopefully the end of the week. Oh no, I'm off to Sweden very, very soon. And I mean, that is you've chosen a really, as well as the New York Pro, obviously that's a well-established show, but the Indy Pro, obviously fairly new show. I mean, that's a really good show to do. I mean, are you excited for it?
I am. I mean, I'm extremely excited. It's funny, I've never had a promoter contact me before. It was nice. Unbelievable. He actually wrote me on Instagram.
Nice.
And he said he's excited to see me. Mm-hmm. He said he's happy I'm doing his show. He said I look phenomenal, and he said that the fans are really excited to see me on stage. I couldn't believe that. I've never had a promoter reach out to me.
Nice. That's a big show as well. It's a big show.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see that. And the goal. So when I first spoke to Jose about prepping me for my pro debut, our goal was the New York Pro. So he said, let's do the New York Pro. He said, and I was just like, I was kind of hesitant at first because it's the New York Pro. It's the third biggest show in the world.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you crazy? But I'm like, I'm going to hear you out. Mm-hmm. He was just like, dude, he goes, you have everything it takes to win that show. He said, all the pieces are there. He said, the only thing we need to do is fine tune everything and refine your physique. He's basically referring to condition. He said, but all the pieces are there. He said, if you want to win this show, he goes, it's yours for the taking. He said, and he meant this, and that's one thing I've learned about Jose. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't try to make you feel good. If he says something, he absolutely positively means it. Yep. And that's one thing I've learned about him. Before I used to think, okay, maybe is he just saying these things to make me feel better or build my confidence or, no, I mean, he wouldn't say it if he didn't mean it. And that's one thing I've learned about Jose, which, I really appreciate about him. But he basically said that for your pro debut, he's someone with the caliber of physique that you have. He said, when you step on a pro stage for the first time, you want to make a statement. He said, you want to make waves. And he said, and New York's the place to do it. He said, they love freaks.
Yeah.
He said, it's loud. He said, it's obnoxious. Yeah. He said, New York loves freaks. And he said, and you're just about as freaky as they come. He said, that's the show that I'm looking at for you. Yeah. And, after he made his case, I was just like, you know what, let's do it. I didn't even have to think about it. Jose has a way of willing you to do things, just the positivity and his mindset and the belief he has in you. And, like I remember he and I spoke, he said that you have to have a vision for yourself that you don't even think is possible. He said, that's the vision you have to have for yourself. He said, believe that you can do something so far-fetched, so absurd, so great that even you don't think it's possible. And I didn't really understand what he meant until now, because I get it now, because I never thought ever that I would look like this 5 weeks out from a show.
Yeah.
I never thought that I'd be sitting here talking to you about my pro debut, and people actually I'm a no name, I'm a nobody. I haven't established myself in the pros yet, and people are actually saying like, yo, this kid is one to look at. This kid's a contender. Like, he's the guy to beat. And now I finally understand what Jose meant. Yeah. That's the vision you need to have for yourself. But going back to the Indy, New York was our pro debut. Jose came to me 2 weeks ago and said, dude, you're so far ahead of schedule and you look so good. He goes,
fantastic.
He goes, we're doing the Indy. And I was just
nice.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So that's good. So you're doing 2 shows in your pro debut season, and year and overall. So I mean, have you considered any more shows potentially, or is it just those 2 and nothing else, regardless?
The Olympia.
Yes, of course. Man. Of course.
The Olympia.
Okay.
After I win the Indy in New York, we're going to the Olympia, man.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. Thing is, you've got to have, like I said, you've got to have this, like you said, you've got a vision of yourself, because that's how you level up. That's how you go from 4th at the Nationals to winning your pro card, and then, and coming into a pro debut, you're on fire. Like I said, I came to you, I saw the pictures and I went, holy shit, okay, this guy, I need to jump on this guy, because this is, this guy's really good. This way, it's the whole point of our show. We go to the guys that we think, okay, yeah, we go to the established William Bonacks and Braden Currys and guys like that, and Phil Heath, but it's this new talent coming through, people like yourself that are going to be making waves, this year.
Man, and just to hear you say that, you have no idea. That means the world to me, man. It's like I said, I shouldn't be here right now. I shouldn't be in the position I'm in right now. So just hearing you say that, it means the world to me, and I so appreciate you reaching out to me, man. You have no idea. I flipped out when I saw you in my DM. I was just like, holy crap. I was like, is this for real? Like, I had to check to make sure it wasn't fake, I mean, I genuinely appreciate this and the time that you spent with me. And, man, it means the world to me. So thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's our pleasure, mate. And finally, first, also, is that you in the picture of your right shoulder?
Oh, no.
Who is that? I was like, okay.
No, so my girlfriend, she is a pharmaceutical rep.
Okay.
And she works with HIV. So that's a HIV. It's a guy. I'm not gonna say he's homosexual, but I mean he's wrapped in an HIV banner.
Okay.
So like that's something that she has a passion for, and she's really big on like HIV prevention and trying to help people with HIV and just guiding them in the right direction and getting them on the proper meds to take better care of themselves, because it's really sad. I mean, I'm not trying to change the subject or get political here, but it's really sad that a lot of they have meds that work really well, and can save lives, and a lot of people just don't take them, and I don't really know why.
We watched Dallas Buyers Club a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? And that's the story of basically what you're talking about. And what was the name of the AZ? What was it called? Anyway, but this is back in the 80s and stuff. But is it? Sorry, on a completely. Obviously, we're going on to a different subject. But is it true they found a cure through stem cells? I saw that on social media a few months ago.
No, that I don't know.
Okay, well, it's big strides anyway that they say they're making. I
answer that for you. I just know that they have some pretty amazing drugs out there now. I mean, they've got drugs, and the drug that she promotes. Actually, it lowers. What it does is it lowers the viral load so low that you're actually undetectable in a lab test, and you can no longer transfer HIV through sex.
Wow!
So pretty amazing, and you can live perfectly normal, long life with HIV now. And this is a disease that, once you acquired AIDS, I mean, the typical
death sentence.
It was a death sentence. Absolutely.
It wiped out millions, especially in Africa and stuff. It wiped out. It spread like wildfire, because obviously no protection.
So it's just something that she's really passionate about. There's a couple others here. She's got red ribbons everywhere. But yeah, no, that is not me.
Okay. I thought maybe it was you when you were Natty doing a photo shoot or something. Yumon, any thank yous quickly before I let you go, mate?
Yes, absolutely. My girlfriend, obviously, huge thanks to her. She's been a huge support system. And she prepares all my meals, and she basically does everything. She's awesome, amazing. She really, really helps with throughout this entire process. And then my sponsor here, Dragon Pharma,
you with Dragon Pharma?
Yes, sir.
Wow, good company.
This company, man, I'm not trying to plug them. I'm not, because I'm for real. Like, these people have been so unbelievably supportive. I owe them so much more than I can ever repay them. They're just amazing. They actually came to me when I was no longer competing. Okay. Because they're a local company, and the gym that I trained out of, they did photo shoots there, and the owners trained there. Mm-hmm. So they were actually clients of mine, the owners, and they came to me. I started working with them, and they just liked the way I explained things and my delivery. And they actually came to me, offered me a contract, and asked if I would come on board as a coach and, just demonstrate exercises, talk about their supplements. And, it basically just evolved into this. Like, they had no ambitions or expectations of me ever turning pro or ever competing again. Yeah. And here I am now, and they're supporting me through my pro debut. So it's actually a really cool story with them. It's a story. Big shout out to Dragon Pharma, man. Tell you, that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. They've been a huge support system for me. And in my home gym, Athletic Factor Gym, they're awesome. They've I've been there since I was 19 years old, and they've nice and supported me through all of this. So huge. So yeah. Right. Okay. Then, Yumon, mate, this has been a really good talk. I've really enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying the kind of more conversation format, and you really opened up, mate. And I think that's really credit to you. And I think you're going to develop quite a big fan base quite quick when people watch this, to be honest, because I think you're a very very likable guy, and you're, by just looking from your photos, you're an incredible athlete with a huge amount of potential for the future. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, I really do. I appreciate the opportunity to come on the show and, tell my story and share a little bit about myself. And I look forward to more in the future. Okay, mate. Well, we're watching they're watching the Indy live stream on this very screen. So watching the live stream, I'll probably be doing some play-by-play. So I'll be rooting for you, mate. Awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Have a great day, Yumon, and all the best for the next few weeks, mate. You do the same. Take care. All right. Take care, mate. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, it is hot news for MD Glow Muscle Season 4, Episode 58. MD Glow Muscle, Episode 138. I know I keep saying that. Why do I keep saying that? I should just stick to the seasons. And we need to get a new intro done because Season 4 is going on for a bit long now.
It's going to be like 300 episodes, 20 episodes in season 2 and 3, and 1 million episodes in season 4. So yeah, so I want to find somebody that's as good as the one we've got, because I love our intro and the flying paw, and yeah. So anyway, right, what was I talking about? Sorry. Job request. Right. Oh yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Then we're going to go to our kind of main guest, because obviously the interview was the longest, with Yumon Eaton, IFBB Pro, turned pro at the Amateur Olympia in the end of 2020, obviously in Vegas. Fantastic story. I mean, sometimes when they go right like that with someone that you've never ever spoken to or don't really know much about, it's always a real thrill. And you really, because you get, you kind of go in fresh eyes, and everything they say, you're learning for the first time, So, I mean, obviously I love interviewing the heavy hitters and all the big names, but, pretty much we've heard their stories many, many times. But, yeah, so it's great to get these kind of fresh new faces. And, so, yeah, and he's looking absolutely tremendous. So these were the pictures that caught the beady eye of Giles Tiger Thomas. Yeah, so here he is. There he is. Doesn't he look taller than 5'8"?
He looks fantastic.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah. And I love his quads. And his quads remind me of Sean Roden's. Yeah. Don't they? Do you know what? I like the back shots. What I like about him, he's very, very complete. Everything flows. I can't pick a fault on him. I can't actually pick a fault on him. So Jose Raymond has got a very good eye, and he's also done a very good job of prepping him, because this is 5 weeks out, Lauren. This is Yumon Eaton at 5 weeks out. And I tell you what, potential's there. I mean, he looks great now, but just think about how good he could be in a couple more years when he's 35 years old now. But think about how good he will be when he's 37, 38. It just blows my mind. So, he's hard to pick a fault. In fact, I'm very looking forward to seeing him. I mean, that front lat spread, I mean, you'd be happy looking like that on stage, and that's 5 weeks out. And a lot can be done. Do you know, I prepped for a show once in 5.5 weeks, and I got shredded. I was actually getting ready for a show. It was 12 weeks, and I basically 4.5 weeks in, I thought, hang on, I'm going to do a warm-up show because I'm absolutely shredded. But my point is, 5 weeks, I went from scratch to conditioning, and this guy's still got 5 weeks to go from this position, if you see my point, basically. Just use an opportunity to talk about myself. Yeah, that front lat spread, love it. The quad, the detail, the quad separation. He's got great calves. I just can't pick a fault. Nice separation everywhere. When he's filled out and dried out, and he's got the old Boston Mass Magic, so obviously the contest prep, he's tanned up and everything and all the glazes on. This guy is going to look absolutely sensational. So I was so happy to get him on, and like I said, it was a real. I was buzzing afterwards. It was such a beautiful interview, because he was so open, so honest, and I really felt very engaged. Because sometimes with these new athletes, I'll say, okay, let's go for 30, 40 minutes, but it went on for over an hour, and to be honest, I got completely lost in that. So what an interesting guy. Huge new talent to watch out for, and it's great to see these new faces. So let's have a look at some more pictures. Let's have a look. Oh, he's got YouTube there. He's doing the Indy Pro and the New York Pro. So the Indy Pro will be his pro debut. He turned pro in December 2020 at the Amateur Olympia. And so I love his quads. Look at that. Look at the detail. I mean, he's got fine separation, striations, and the thing is, they don't just look lean, they look dry. I mean, the skin looks thin at 5 weeks out. And Jose Raymond is really pushing the condition, because he sees that Yumon has symmetry, he has balance, he has nice flow. And so he's really trying to push the condition, because like Yumon said, that Jose really wants to make a statement with his pro debut. And I think they're going to do it. So, yeah, 6 weeks to the New York Pro in these pictures. I mean, that's incredible. So I think 2 shows is smart as well for your pro debut. You don't want to kind of just do 4, 5, 6 shows just purely for the sake of it. This is his pro debut. He's been out for 2 years, and so let's see where he falls in the placings, and then obviously it's back to the drawing board to come back. Either because if he wins, I mean, obviously he'll go to the Olympia, but otherwise it'll be, I would imagine, taking time off to come back in 2023, and then we'll really see. But I think he's got potential now, But I mean, for a couple of years, I'm seeing glimmers of Sean Roden even in that front ab and thigh. You know,
I love it.
I'm seeing, and he does look taller than 5'8". Yeah. I would have said, sure. I mean, if you look at that front double bicep, I would have said at least 5'10" and maybe in the 250s, 260 range. But yeah, he's like what 234, he said, and he's 5'8". So the thing is, bodybuilding is an illusion. So I love that rear lat spread. Yeah, very complete, very pleasing physique. That's what we like to see. We like to see aesthetics on these open guys because the classic class is coming up now, and the people are. Looks like Rodney St. Cloud in that picture. My old friend Rodney. I thought about I don't know why. He's on the old leg press again. don't do that again. Yeah, obviously that story of him rupturing his liver. Was it slow today on Instagram? Come on, there we go. Yeah, so yeah. Well, that's not. I mean, it is a lot of weight, but for these guys, I mean, it's crazy to think Ronnie Coleman leg press 2,500 pounds. I mean, how many? Hang on. Divide that by 2.2. How many is that? How many plates is that? How many plates a side is 2,500 pounds? So divide by 2.2 and then 2 again, because that's for each side, and that's how many plates Ronnie Coleman had each side. 568. So that's what 28 plates a side Ronnie Coleman had training a Metroflex. But Ronnie Coleman's a one-off. How many's he got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plates. I think that's the kind of weight you'd expect for a guy, of this level to be pressing. I've done 11. I've done 11 plates. 12 plates. Not showing off or anything. So yeah, obviously it's leg day in that gym because everyone's training legs. Well, I suppose it is a leg area, so they're probably going to be training legs in the leg training section. I remember I used to train at David Lloyd's when I lived down in London, and beautifully equipped gym, and they had a whole entire leg room, and I don't think I ever saw anyone else in there apart from me, because it was one of those like chest and arms gyms, chest, abs, and arms. I mean, you could never get on the chest press or the ab machines or the curl machines, but the leg room, the beautiful leg room was spotless because no one ever used it. Well, it was actually covered in dust because no one was using it. So, and it's funny because I was squatting, and my form's good. My form's always been good, and I think I had maybe, it wasn't a massive amount of weight, 2.5, 3 plates or whatever. And then this I hate to say this, I hate to be this like elitist because I was in contest prep at the time, and this like skinny kind of trainer came over to me, one of the personal the gym PTs, and he started saying, "You doing your what's that? Lip balm? Oh, okay, so you're putting glue on your lips." Yeah, he came in and he started like telling me how I should squat, and my form is I'm pretty good on form, and I think I just growled at him. He was like, "I shouldn't be like, I know, I'm sure just because he looks like he's never picked up a weight in his life. I shouldn't not take advice. That's the mindset we need to get out of, guys. So just completely disregard what I just said." So anyway, I like this front lat spread shot. Sorry, I get distracted. That's really 5 weeks out. Do you know what? I see why Jose Raymond kind of is excited about this guy. I mean, look at him. I mean, for me, it's the legs that set everything off because his legs are exceptional. And it's got because obviously black guys, it's very hit and miss with their calves. Because they're very genetically they have very high calf insertions, but he's got very good calves. So God, that's him at 5.5 weeks out. So yeah, I can't wait to see the Indy Pro live stream because it's always exciting to see the new faces, but to see new guys like this. And then to hear their kind of story and stuff like that, it helps you connect with them and root for them and kind of get to know them really. Because like I said, it's very exciting when the new faces come along and when they're this good and look to be making a good impact in their in their pro rookie year. It's very exciting for the sport, for the fans, for everything, for me, myself, the media, everyone. So there he is. That's where that's his amateur Olympia medal. Yeah. So yeah, you should do the amateur Olympia, darling. Yeah, it's something, maybe an idea we should discuss, because I'll be out there, hopefully.
Help me.
Fingers crossed, I'll help you. So anyway, so really, what a fantastic new talent, and very, very interested to see how he'll look in 5 weeks, and basically what he's bringing to the stage. And the thing is, it's gonna be some big names like Justin Rodriguez. Mine's gone completely blank. A lot of top guys, because the Indy Pro, it's really one of the first. We've had the Boston Pro and the Arnold Classic, but in terms of Open, this is what, the 3rd or 4th Pro show of the season. I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's been any other Open shows, is there yet? We've got the Arnold Brazil coming.
Arnold Brazil. We had Jay Cutler's one.
That's amateur.
Oh, was that amateur?
Yeah, amateur. Yeah, it's not pro. It's not Open. But come on, pick. Oh, there's Jose. Jose drinks rosy wine. Do I tell that story when he called Chris Bailey Photo Jesus?
Wait, tell us again.
Well, basically, Jose Raymond was over. Guest posing at Anth Bale's. It was UKMFF show before the split. This was about 2000. I've got 2012 in my head. No, it would have been after 2014, maybe. Yeah, around that time. And Jose flew over to guest pose, and he'd finished his guest pose, and we all went for a meal afterwards. And Jose was with us, and he had a couple of shots, and I think because he said I haven't drank alcohol in 10 months. He had a couple of shots in the daytime, and he got a little bit drunk quite quick because I think it was on empty stomach as well. So Chris Bailey, the very well-known photographer, long hair. I've trained with Chris, trained with Chris at Ultraflex. Good, strong guy actually, very strong. Because I thought I'll do shoulders because I'm quite strong on shoulders. And we were neck and neck. I think we were doing like 40 kilo dumbbells, it's quite a lot, And I thought, oh shit, he's actually quite a strong guy. So.
Photo Jesus and the Tiger.
So anyway, yeah, Photo Jesus and Tiger training shoulders. YouTube video coming soon. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, and he just said, "Hey, Photo Jesus." So because obviously he's got the long hair and the beard, and but it was very, very funny. I guess he had to be there. But so I'm so glad that someone like Yumon has someone like Jose in his corner, because it's crucial that these guys get good guidance, and fantastic. So yeah, it's nice to see guys like Jose sort of paying it forward and basically sharing their knowledge with, the new guys, because these are the champions of tomorrow. So, can't remember Jose at 2012 British Grand Prix, him and Eduardo Correa. It was those shows where you literally conditioning could have not, it was 100%. Like that absolute, the guys could not have got any harder and drier. I mean, their condition was incredible. It blew my mind. I think that was the best, apart from that one when he did the New York Pro, when he came in really vascular and dry, and there's like kind of once in a lifetime conditioning. So, he's chunky and awesome shoulders. I like his delts. Go on, Jose. Yeah. And Jose, I think he's back squatting now as well, because obviously he had a hip replacement. Yeah, he had a hip replacement. Yeah, that's pretty much why he retired. One of the main reasons, really. And he's old as shit now as well. So I love you, Jose. No, and Jose was he was like a 10-time. Was it something like he'd won the middleweight national so many times that he was eligible for his pro card, but he never took it. And eventually, when the 212, the 202 came along, that's why he took his pro card. So if the 202 hadn't have come along, he would have remained amateur Jose. So yeah, and also check out No Way Jose, obviously the show on this channel, MD YouTube. And sorry, we're spending a lot of time on Yumon. We've got to go very soon because we have our guest, which you'll have watched by now. So we're filming it in a funny order today. But so Yumon Eaton, check him out. A backup account. So I'm assuming he had another account that got hacked, just a guess. But so excited to see these new guys coming through. So anyway, we're going to go to William Martins, who we're going to interview after this. But it's going to be, you're going to see this before this. Does that make sense? Am I making sense today, or am I just rambling on more than normal?
You're funny.
Okay. Right, okay. And I've not had any coffee either.
No.
Just green tea and steak. Steak and eggs, that's what I have. Right, okay. William Martins. Now, this guy really has caught my attention. Last year, he took, I think it was 3rd place in Portugal, and was it 3rd place at Puerto Rico? But for me, he looks like in the mold of a Dennis Wolf. And William is doing the Arnold Brazil, and I'm telling you, if Rafael Brandeo does not bring his A game and Cebu Sissi do not bring their A game, this guy is going to take some names. I tell you, he is coming up so fast, and even last year what he brought was very, very impressive. He beat Vlad. He beat Vlad Suhorochko, who's obviously peaking at the moment. And thing is, he's like 280, 285 here. Look at that. He's good, isn't he? He's really good. He's very well put together. He's thick. He's round. He's got a good shape. Last year, the back felt like it looked like it needed to come up a little bit because certainly in his front shots, in the flare in his lats, when he was hitting his front double bicep, it basically, that was the one body part he needed to bring up. But, William, he's been working very, very hard. I've been following his progress in the last year. And, his updates and all that on this Instagram account. And I'm telling you, this is a guy to watch for 2022. I think he's... Oh, God, the back, look. Yeah, look. The back's come up. There you go. I love it when guys realize what they need to do and they go away and they do it. And then a year later, they're a completely different physique. Because if he was top threes in shows with a not a very good back last year and he needs to improve it, imagine what he's going to do this year with a full year of improvements. And he's got momentum now, this guy. So he's doing the Arnold Brazil. What else is he doing? I would think William will be doing the New York Pro. But look at that. How many weeks out? 3 weeks out. So this is 3 weeks out from the Arnold Brazil. Yeah, it looks good. The back looks good now. The back looks good. Yeah, it's not a weakness anymore. Do you know Dennis Wolf's physique? Very familiar? If you go and look at Dennis Wolf, this is very much the kind of structure and shape, and also the size as well. Dennis Wolf was an absolute monster. But I tell you, I think, because he's kind of got the Jay Cutler hair as well. So people say he's a little bit like, they are, look, Jay Cutler. Cool, yeah. But I think I think he's one to watch. I really do. I think he's going to be dangerous this year, and very excited to see how he does. And I tell you what, I'm saying it now. I've already said it. Rafael better bring his A game. Brandao better bring his A game to the Arnold Brazil, because on paper, Rafael Brandao is kind of like the odds-on favorite, hands down to win this. But, here's a guy that could cause an upset in terms of Brandao's fans anyway. So I think he's awesome. And I think he's one of those guys, I think he's, you probably won't realize how big he is until he stands next to, because I noticed when he stood next to, was Akeem Williams last year, the Puerto Rico, and I realized how good this guy was. So let's see if we can find any Puerto Rico or Portugal shots from last year. They are up, Puerto Rico. Yeah, see, he's really good, isn't he? He's really good. See, the back was lacking last year, but all this is thicker now. See, he was just this, the actual lat development. The traps, the rear delts, everything's thick. Calves are fantastic. Yes, I tell the Brazilian guys, Brazil's absolutely exploding. We've had on Ramondino, hoping to get on in the next couple of weeks. I've spoke to his manager. And obviously the classic superstar, 5th place at the Olympia last year. And what was Ramondino at the... Where was he at the Arnold Classic? Was he 2nd or 3rd? Hang on. Who was first? Ruffin was 1st. Brion was 4th. Was he 2nd and then Urs was 3rd? Or the other way around? Okay, well, I've just completely slipped my mind at the moment. But he is qualified for the Olympia. He won in Boston. Sorry, we're talking about Ramon now. But basically the Brazilian athletes are, in every category. Who have they got? They got Francial, the current Olympia champion in the wellness. Isa Piccini in the bikini. In the 212, they have Lucas Coelho. They have some other good guys. Classic. They have Marcelo, who's going to be making a pro debut this year, who I think will get his ticket to the Olympia. And I think he will be first call out at the Olympia. I think he's that good. Sorry? Angelica. Well, yeah, Angelica. Yeah, Angelica. Yeah, Brazilian. Yeah. I know she's kind of she is retired, isn't she? She's definitely not competing again. She's retired. She's got a kid now. She's probably gonna want another one. You know what women are like. Once they have one, they want more. They're like what are those chips called? Crisps called. God. They're like Pringles. Women with babies are like people with Pringles. They pop. And they can't stop. Okay, I'm going to get some shit for that. Oh, yeah. Ooh, Portugal. So there you go. William Martin. Yeah, see, look, he's big. And the conditioning is really, really good as well. So, so hope you enjoyed the interview. I hope he turns up. Look at a right idiot if he doesn't. But so keep an eye out for this guy. He is doing the Arnold South America, and I would imagine he will be doing the New York Pro. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't. And huge new talent. And I like I said, I think he's one to keep an eye on. So I'm going to quickly go to Bodybuilders Without Borders because I just want to see what's happened in the last week. This is what I was looking for. Hunter Labrada. This is him in the off-season guest posing. Wow. I mean, that is, exactly. Wow. Isn't that great conditioning for off-season? Look at that. 4th place at the Olympia last year. He won the Chicago Pro, beating Brett Wilkin last year, and he hasn't competed since. He must be getting ready for something because I don't think that's... I would be very shocked if that's how he looks proper off-season. I think he's started a prep for something, I'm guessing. I'm guessing he's going to probably do Tampa or...
Great glutes, my God.
Great glute. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, but you can't... How can you argue with that? I mean, that's turning up to a guest posing in that kind of condition. That's impressive. I mean, he's like, was he 275 there? Oh, obviously guest posing at the Jay Cutler Desert Classic. So, yeah, it's nice to see Jay really involved as well, promoting amateur shows. You know, he was the main spokesperson for the Boston Pro, and he did a great job because I had him on the Pro League Hype Show. And what was he on for about half an hour or something? And it was he's such a good spokesperson for bodybuilding in general. And I tell you what, the waist is still nice and small. Everything. He's one of these guys, Hunter, that's a bit more low key. He does post a lot, and he posts a lot of progress pictures, but he's just kind of like a workhorse. He just graphs away, shows up. And I mean, now he's at top 4, top 5 Olympia, and he's still like 30 years old, you know? So was he undefeated as an amateur? I'm sure he was undefeated as an amateur, and then, like I said, just won everything, turned pro. Won his pro debut at the Tampa, 8th place at the Olympia, came back last year, won the Chicago Pro, and then took 4th place at the Olympia, beating Nick Walker, who was 5th. So a lot of Nick Walker fans weren't happy about that. But look at that. He's very well put together. You know, I'll be honest, I didn't see Hunter Labrada coming the way he was, but he's just, like I said, he's just kept his head down. He's worked hard, and he's just made those steady, constant improvements. His calves are fantastic. Oh, my God. Look at them. They're like Flex Lewis calves. Holy shit. Yeah, I love the shape. He's impressive. He's a very impressive athlete. Very consistent, and he's very reliable that you know he's going to turn up improved, and he's going to turn up conditioned. So I still think his posing could be better, though, because when you got your dad helping you with your posing... You know, I mean, I started following the sport in 1990. You know, that was when Lee Labrada was at his peak, 2nd at the Olympia in 1990, dropped to 4th in 1991, 3rd in 92. But, you know, there's a guy that, his routines were mind-blowing. And if you don't believe me, go to YouTube and Google 1991 Olympia Lee Labrada routine, and then go watch Hunter's at the Olympia or whatever show he's done, Chicago, or watch this guest posing. And you'll realize then what I'm on about, that he really could be. Oh, you do it? Yeah, that's 91 Olympia. Yeah, because it was all like martial arts. And I mean, it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. For me, that's the best posing routine of all time. Yes, most impressive technically. It was just flawless. Go watch it. And, and then you'll see why I go on a lot about the state of posing nowadays. So fantastic. So very excited to see what Hunter's going to be doing next. I'm not aware of what show he's doing next. I'm guessing he started his prep there because he doesn't look full blown off season there to me. He looks like he's prepping for something, just a feeling. And so nothing else much on there I want to look at really. Right, okay then, because we are very pushed for time. I'm going to go to the Indy Pro. Obviously, promoter Dave Bowers, a fantastic show promoter, very, very passionate. And like Yumon said there in the interview, he said he's really reached out to Yumon and really helped connect them and kind of give a little boost to the athletes to make them feel welcome and feel supported. So we'll come to the Indy more in the next couple of weeks because obviously, how many weeks out we are now from Indy? How many weeks did it say? Was it 3? I think 3 weeks to Indy Pro. Hang on. Let's look at... Why don't we check the date on the Instagram page? Oh, what a surprise. May the 14th. So there's going to be Open 212 and the addition of the female bodybuilding. So that's very exciting to see another female bodybuilding show added to the calendar. I'm sure the guys at Wings of Strength and Jake Wood really appreciate that, as do the female bodybuilding athletes themselves. So yes, that's going to be a really good show. I think on odds on, I think Justin Rodriguez is probably the favorite on paper to win that. But let's see what happens in the next few weeks. And obviously we'll see on the day when we see the live stream. I'm going to go next to Hunter Labrada. Well, I've just kind of brought that up, so no need. I've already seen that on Bodybuilders Without Borders. And then finally, we are going to come to, once again, NPC Sweden, because we are off this Friday and we are doing the live stream. €9.99. Yay us. Well, let's and I've sent Ashkan. I've tagged him in on my new suit because he sent me a picture because I told him a few weeks ago. I said, look, we are getting dressed up, and the tie. Is that a surprise? Should I keep that quiet? No. Why is that wet? That's probably me gobbing all over it. Right, Ashkan Nagili, a very well-known Swedish podcaster. I was on his podcast a few weeks ago with the guy who does the podcast too, called Tingra. It reminded me because it sounded like tiger. Tingra. I don't speak Swedish. And with Frederick, I can't remember his last name, but we had a really good talk about British bodybuilding. And you know me, I can talk about bodybuilding quite easily. It's not a problem for me. So yeah, that's a very sexy picture of me there. I use that for everything. I'd just been to Cyprus and then literally came home for a couple of days and then went straight out to Vegas for the 2017 Olympia, which I covered with Ron Harris. And yes, before my beard went grey. I think that was when I just started experimenting with facial hair. So yeah, so I was very tanned. I used a lot of Melanotan for that holiday. Injected a lot of Melanotan before I went. It's a tanning. It's legal. Is it legal? It's legal. It's legal. Let's say it's legal. Yeah, tanning peptide. So I hammered it for a week and I got a beautiful tan. So it was good to be on camera, being all tanned up and sexy. So, and that was my new suit. No, actually, was that a new suit? No, that was the suit I had for the 2016 Olympia, but I class it as my Olympia suit. Anyway, let's back to the. This is weird enough about me. Oh shit! What was that I've done there? Oh, I've done something wrong there. Oh, I've gone to the Iron World Sweden. Yes, and obviously, Lauren Lotta is doing a free posing class. Can you tell us about that quickly, Lauren? You got 5 seconds.
Free posing Friday the 15th, 6 to 8 at registration.
Yeah.
And started our stash.
We kind of read it there. We kind of read it. Yeah, basically what she said, if you read that. So, girls, free posing at registration. Take the opportunity to polish the last details in your posing with the posing queen herself, Lauren Lotta, a.k.a. Lady T. Lauren will be I'm not saying that, during the registration, help you girls out between 6 to 8 p.m. in a separate posing room. So basically you're giving pointers on posing, accessories, shoes, and all that kind of the presentation of the female athletes and how they...
And I will bring any extra enjoys.
All right. Don't go crazy on the plugs now.
What happens if
You're going to have to pay for advertising, sorry. Sorry, I'm going to invoice you now. Hang on, I can't hear you. The headphones are blocking your voice now. So anyway, yeah, I'm joking. Basically free posing. So that's cool. I'm glad you're. And the thing is, it's another thing we can offer when we go to these events. Yeah. You know, so we do the live stream. I'm doing a little bit of MCing and stuff like that. So, but anyway, we're super excited, and I can't wait to reconnect. I messaged Michael Johansson, the owner of GASP, today, because this is who's running the show. The GASP and the Better Bodies team from Sweden, they're also based out in Dallas, Texas. And I was saying, he said, it's been a while since we've seen each other. And I said, yeah, so it's been a good few years. So it's going to be nice. It's going to have a nice experience. And obviously part of the Iron World tour. So, because they're with Branch Warren. I think Branch Warren will be there because they've got Keon Pearson. They've got Martin Fitzwater. They have Sean Clarida. I'm not sure if Derek Lunsford is still a member of the team. I'll have to go and check. But they've got a big team, and they kind of go to all these doing seminars and appearances and stuff like that, and obviously promoting the athletes and the clothing brands, and just being awesome people. So that is it. So yes, we're very excited to leave on Friday. So we'll be, if you want to check out, go to npcsweden.com, and you can see that this weekend and hear our coverage. Myself, Lauren, and Ashkan. And yes, and that is it. And also, this is obviously still the latest issue of MD, but I have just seen the latest cover, and it's Andrew Jacked. Andrew Jack, you know, the guy who won the Arnold Amateur. He's working with George Farr and Flex Wheeler. So, we've got to go. And that is it, my friends. Right, okay then. I'm not sure what's happening next week with MD Global. Might have to move it back a couple of days because we're away. Obviously, I'm super organised. I haven't figured out what we're going to do, but there will be an episode next week. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And I'm actually trying to do more conversations now at the moment with Global. And for me, it's more engaging and more interesting. So I hope you're enjoying this kind of this new sort of style. And that is it. Yeah. Okay then, guys. Thank you for watching MD Global Muscle. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for all the MD YouTube updates, and that is it. Right, okay then, guys. I'm going to go to my next interview. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And ladies and gentlemen, we are out.